To many new crocheters, the casting off process is something that they're kind of regretting at the end of their project because they want to do it perfectly. There's nothing worse than doing all this beautiful work and then all of a sudden you have all these loose ends hanging out. What we're going to show you today is how to cast off and getting rid of the loose ends so that you have a beautiful edging on both sides of your work. So let's get started. My name is Michael Selleck and I'm the creator of Mikey's Mail. I'm here with my friends at AllFreeCrochet.com who's asked me to produce a video on how to cast off by weaving in the ends. We're going to take our project, we're using double crochet at this time for this particular project. I'm using a size G hook and I'm also using 4-ply Bernat yarn. The casting off process is the same regardless of what kind of yarn and needle that you're using today. So we're just going to come to our very end. So we're just double crocheting all the way across to the end. In this particular sample you could be doing another stitch. So what we're going to just do is go into your final stitch just like so and double crochet ourselves right to the final. So you'll end up with a loop right on your hook. So what we just need to do is grab your nifty scissors and just cut, I would suggest about 3 to 4 inches long. I always try to get over top of my hand just like so, and then I determine that's enough for me. So it's now still on the hook. What we're just going to do is just pull out the straggler. So just continue to pull it out just like so. Okay. So remember that crochet is a series of knots. And so when the strings go in the wrong direction, they kind of grab onto each other. So we've just pulled it out and now we're going to use the weaving technique. So going into the very first stitch where you just pulled out from, okay, just going in. So you see it's coming out of there. It's you got your needle through. Just grab your material and pull through, just like so. And what we want to do is be very careful on the straggler. It's very easy to grab a partial of the straggler and it separates the strings, the 4 plies, it will separate it. So we just want to continue to grab it, throw it over the edge, okay, using your 2 fingers, you can just throw it over the edge, sticking your needle into the very next stitch available, and then pull it through. And what we want to do is continue to work that backward from the direction. So I was coming in this direction, I want to work back in the other direction. So sticking your needle in, pulling it out, so just continue to throw over. Now depending on what your application, if you're just like a senior, you want to use afghan or something, you don't need to tie any serious knots on it. But you can secure it at this point, but what we just need to do is just put your needle in, okay, and just grabbing the material, but don't let it out of your hand. So what we want to do is kind of cause it to form its own knot. So just go there, okay? So now just throw the string through that, there, and just pull tight. And so just that action alone causes it to tighten onto itself and then continue to weave. So that's what I'd recommend for that. The next part of the process you'll want to do, so I haven't trimmed it yet, is that you want to yank on it. You want to pull it and you want to give it that stretch because you want to see where exactly this is going to fall out. Because if you decide to cut it before pulling it, what you're going to do is you end up cutting it too short. So you just want to do it because, chances are somebody's going to be reefing on it, somebody's going to be pulling it, and when they go to pull, if you haven't pulled it yourself already, you would have not left yourself enough string in there, so it would fall out pretty well in the first application. So let's turn this over and deal with the very first one here. So we're just going to use the weaving technique on the very first straggler string. Again, just throwing it over and pulling it through. And you got to make sure that when you're going through, you're actually grabbing the right string. It's easy just to grab the wrong one. So I guess using your hands actually is a better way of actually kind of feeling it out because if it doesn't want to come with you, why force it? So we're just going to weave ourselves through the edging piece again and go as long as you want to. I would suggest about 2 inches if you have that opportunity. And again, depending on your application, you might want to tie it at some point throughout here instead of the very end. And what we can just do too is just give it that extra tie, just like so. And now what we want to do is reef on it, so we want to pull it. So you can see it's not moving now. I've pulled it to the maximum limit, and so now that's where we can trim it.